Last week in Canberra, the enabling legislation for the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement passed the House of Representatives. Now obviously trade is a good thing and freer trade should be a good thing too. The problem we've got here is that the agreement with China is flawed. In essence, the Australian government didn't push hard enough to get the best deal for Australia, and the Labor Party federal opposition didn't work hard enough to hold the government to account and to force it to make all of the necessary amendments that would have turned this agreement into a good agreement. One of the problems with the current agreement, which has received quite a bit of publicity, is that labour market testing is not required in every case before foreign workers are brought in on a 457 visa. In other words, there are some circumstances where foreign workers will be brought to this country and fill jobs in this country before anyone has just checked to see if there are any Australian workers available to do that job. Other problems with the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement is that it allows Chinese workers to come into Australia and to work for up to 90 days without being qualified or licensed. So in other words, they could come here for 89 days, work, perhaps as an electrician, and then go home. And we have no certainty about the quality or the safety of that work. Another issue is that history shows that foreign workers are often exploited when they are in Australia. They might not understand our labour laws. They might not have power in their relationship with their employer. The result is they're often underpaid, exploited, and the overall effect is not only unfair to that particular worker, but it drives wages down across the whole workforce. A flaw with the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement, which has received quite a bit of publicity here in Tasmania, is the inclusion of investor-state dispute settlement provisions, which allow a foreign company to sue an Australian government if that government does anything at odds with the commercial interest of that company. So in other words, what's to stop a large Chinese company suing the Tasmanian government for our GM-free status, or the very important quarantine safeguards protecting our aquaculture industry? So you can see, the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement has too many flaws in it. Yes, we should do what we can to encourage trade, and yes, we should be entering into agreements with countries like China to improve trade even more. But those agreements have got to be good agreements for Australia. They have to be fair for Australian businesses, and this one isn't. There were opportunities to make it better, and in fact at the last minute, the Greens did move amendments to tighten up the provisions to do with labour market testing. But I was the only person to support those amendments. There was just two of us. Everyone else voted to leave the flaws as they are. And frankly, I think that is a failure of the Parliament to come up with the best deal for our country.